I never thought my marriage would become a stage where I was forced to perform strength, silence, and survival, every single day. When I walked down the aisle to marry Daniel, I believed I was stepping into the beginning of a love story. Instead, I was walking into a battle I hadn't signed up for, one where my opponent wasn't another woman, but his mother. From the moment I moved into their house, her cruelty wasn't subtle, it was deliberate. Sharp words disguised as advice, constant criticisms about my cooking, my clothes, even my laugh. And Daniel? He sat silently, as though his loyalty to her gagged him. But none of that compared to the day I discovered the truth hiding in the kitchen, the truth that shattered everything I thought I knew about loyalty, betrayal, and survival. Because one evening, while preparing dinner, I found dog food mixed into the stew I had just eaten. Chapter 1, The Daily Torment. It started small. The first morning after our wedding, I came downstairs, ready to make breakfast for Daniel and his mother, Evelyn. She sat at the table, her thin lips pressed into a disapproving line. "You slept late," she said. "Wives should be up before their husbands. My son likes his eggs runny, not rubbery." Her words stung, but Daniel kissed her cheek and chuckled. "Mom just has high standards." That was the beginning. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and Evelyn's comments sharpened. If I set the table wrong, she scolded me. If I bought groceries, she rechecked the bags, muttering about wastefulness. When I cooked, she'd whisper, "My poor son, having to eat this." I tried to brush it off, believing patience would win her over. But with each barb, her satisfaction grew. It was as if my pain nourished her. And Daniel? My once loving husband became a shadow. Silent at the dinner table, silent when she mocked me, silent when my eyes filled with tears. I told myself he was torn, caught between us, but his silence began to feel like betrayal. Chapter 2, The Breaking Point. One evening, Evelyn leaned in close as I scrubbed dishes. Her perfume, powdery and cloying, wrapped around me, making it hard to breathe. "You'll never be good enough for him," she whispered. "He'll see it soon." I turned to Daniel, sitting in the living room, eyes glued to the TV. "Daniel," I said, my voice trembling. "Do you hear her?" He didn't even look up. "Just ignore her, Sarah. She doesn't mean it." But she did mean it. And he knew it. The weight of isolation pressed on me. Nights I lay in bed beside Daniel, staring at the ceiling, asking myself, is this what marriage is supposed to be? A silent war where my partner won't defend me? I began to feel like a stranger in my own life. Chapter 3, The Discovery. It happened on a Wednesday night. Evelyn had insisted on helping me season the stew. I reluctantly agreed, too exhausted to fight. She stirred it with an odd little smile, then patted my hand. When dinner was ready, we sat down together. Daniel and Evelyn chatted while I ate. Something about the texture felt strange. Grainy. Almost like sand between my teeth. I excused myself, heart pounding. In the kitchen, I lifted the lid of the pot and stirred carefully. That's when I saw it, dark brown pellets, half dissolved in the broth. I froze. My stomach lurched. I reached for the bag of kibble we kept for Max, our Labrador, hidden in the pantry. The pieces matched exactly. Dog food. She had put dog food in the stew. And I had eaten it. My hands shook so violently I dropped the spoon. My mind screamed, but my throat closed, unable to release the horror. When I returned to the table, Evelyn's eyes glittered. She knew I knew. And Daniel. Daniel ate silently, avoiding my gaze. Chapter 4, Confrontation. That night, I confronted him. She put dog food in the stew. I cried, my voice cracking. "Daniel, she is trying to humiliate me. To destroy me. And you just sat there. You let it happen." For a moment, I thought he'd deny it. But instead, he sighed, rubbing his temples. She's old, Sarah. She's set in her ways. If you keep provoking her, it's only going to get worse. Just, stop reacting. I stared at him, disbelief flooding me. Provoking her? I ate dog food, Daniel. Do you hear yourself? He looked at me then, his eyes hollow. She's all I have left. If it comes down to choosing between you and her, you know the answer. His words cracked something inside me. Chapter 5, The Plan. That night, I lay awake, the ceiling fan whirring above, my body tense with rage and despair. Dog food. His silence. Her smug smile. Something in me shifted. No more tears. No more waiting for rescue. If they wanted to treat me like prey, they had underestimated the wrong woman. The next morning, I smiled at Evelyn as she criticized my sloppy pancakes. I laughed when she mocked my dress. I even nodded when Daniel reminded me to be patient. Inside, I was already planning. Chapter 6, The Twist. Over the next week, I played the role of obedient wife and daughter-in-law. I let Evelyn season the meals, just as she liked. Only this time, I was the one watching closely. One afternoon, while she napped, I slipped into her room. In her nightstand drawer, I found it, small plastic bags of kibble, hidden as though they were contraband. My stomach twisted, but I pocketed them. At dinner that night, I prepared her favorite soup. As I served her, I stirred the kibble into her bowl, masking it beneath rich broth and herbs. I sat across from her, watching. She took a spoonful, then another. Her face paled as she realized the texture. She looked at me, eyes wide, horror dawning. "What's wrong, Evelyn?" I asked sweetly. "Not to your taste." Daniel frowned. "Mom." Evelyn gagged, pushing the bowl away. She poisoned me." I leaned back, my voice calm but sharp. "No. I just thought I'd share the seasoning you seem to like so much." The room fell silent. Daniel's face drained of color. He looked between us, finally seeing the war he had ignored. Chapter 7, Fallout. That night, Evelyn locked herself in her room. Daniel barely spoke, pacing the living room like a man torn in half. When he finally stopped, he whispered, "Why would you do that?" I laughed bitterly. "Why? To show you what she's been doing to me. To make you face the truth you've been too cowardly to acknowledge." He stared at me for a long time, then walked upstairs to his mother's room. Conclusion, the aftermath. It's been 3 weeks since that night. Evelyn barely leaves her room, and Daniel is more distant than ever. We pass each other like ghosts in the hallway. Meals are silent. The air hums with tension, like a storm waiting to break. Sometimes I catch Daniel watching me with an expression I can't decipher. Is it anger? Guilt? Fear? I don't know what will happen next. Divorce? Escape? Or perhaps something darker, waiting in the shadows of this fractured home. But one thing I know for certain, I am no longer afraid. Because once you've eaten dog food served with malice, nothing can shock you anymore. And now, it's their turn to wonder what I might do next.